like one. Awesome, thank you. No problem. Welcome our newest planning commissioner, who was appointed at the last city council meeting.
Surprise!
Appointed or suckered, I don't know which one.
Why did I see something that has a different last name?
I haven't got her new name tag yet, but she does. Her new
What's
name
funny?
is Newton.
Oh, it's Nixon.
Yep.
That was just left over from, when she was.
I
haven't got her
didn't
new
know
yet.
that.
You just cut it there.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep. You met the poor little soul.
Poor little school.
Yep. We run into him a lot at Emery's.
Yeah.
How are you? Good. Amazed to get to your seat, I'm sorry.
Hey, you moved me around.
I did.
Hey, John. Hi. Hi, Steve. Hey,
guess Jim isn't gonna be here.
I didn't think so, but he said he was.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So,
I
I thought he was out of town, so he said, I'll be there.
I thought he probably went south.
He's still here.
You didn't say, okay.
He was at, honor guard funeral this morning.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Sure, soon he'll get out, but. How are you? You going south in the winter?
I was talking about starting to leave in October.
I don't blame you.
Changing our way.
Steve thought you might have been gone already. I said, I'm surprised he's not.
Yeah, not till the 29th. So
Oh, gotcha. Wow.
our grandson's birthday's on the 28th, so we just did that and we leave right after that,
You're a good grandparent.
like about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Midnight?
Walked all the way in, went through the door, and thanks to those two people over there. Yeah. I forgot the manifest.
We bring him this in case we have to go out.
Do you?
Yeah. We don't want to be. 'Cause guess what? He's not, so. You're stuck.
Plan B.
I was ready for it. Just kidding.
Move into that duplex, you're gonna be stuck next to me for a long time.
What's that?
You move into that duplex, you're gonna be stuck next to me for a long
Yeah,
time.
I'm gonna be homeless here pretty soon, don't mind me.
Steve won't let that happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 o'clock, so we'll convene the meeting. The first order of business this evening is pledge of the allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. One housekeeping issue this evening before we start. If you wish to make a comment during the public hearing, please step up to the podium and state your name and address so we have it for the record and in the meeting, in the minutes. Next item of order of business this evening is to welcome Jessica to the Planning Commission.
Welcome.
We got her back.
Stuck with that.
Can't escape.
All right.
Yeah.
And next up is the approval of minutes from the August 18th, 2020 meeting.
I'd make a motion that we accept the minutes from August 18th.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll put it to a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried with Jessica abstaining. All right. Next item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for the consideration and a vote on a recommendation for the proposed rezoning of Tract 3 of the Paola Industrial Park from Business Park to thoroughfare access. The city of Paola is the applicant. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Motion or public hearing is now open.
Sorry. So bear with me, this will be a lot of talking and I'm really sorry. So yes, this was a proposed rezoning for Tract 3, the Paola Industrial Park. It is currently a 5-acre tract. A lot of people don't realize that because the community garden takes up 2 acres of it. The west 2 acres actually, but it's actually 3 acres. So we have a proposed development that's looking to build there. It is going to approximately be an 8,000 square foot building for indoor baseball and softball batting cages. According to the land development ordinance, this use is considered as indoor recreation, which is only allowed in thoroughfare access. So that's why we have to do a zoning change. If the rezoning is approved, the plan is to do a lot split. So we would take Tract 3, split it. So the community garden would have the 2 acres it currently has, and it would stay. And the new building would be on the 3 acres left over. So it would go from 1 lot to 2. So community garden wouldn't be with the new development. For this development to be located in the industrial park, it would have to be rezoned no matter what lot we chose for the industrial park. Tract 3, the proposed lot, is the best option for the rezoning because its adjoining neighbor to the west was actually rezoned from business park to thoroughfare in 2008 for the exact same use, indoor recreation, what this lot is proposing to be rezoned for. And if, in order to rezone something, spot zoning, which would be if we picked any other lot in the industrial park, because it would be rezoning something surrounded by an additional zoning which is not compatible with it. So if we pick this lot, it would be continuing the thoroughfare zoning, not just placing it in the middle of the industrial zoning. So, the land development ordinance has standards, section 21.211, that we evaluate if it is compatible with the comprehensive plan. So, number A is pretty much saying that if it meets standards B, C, and D, then it is compatible with the comprehensive plan if it does not threaten the public health, safety, or welfare. So, item B, the proposed change is consistent with the character of the neighborhood. As previously explained in the brief, the land to the north and east of Tract 3 is zoned business park, with a future development going in on the north lot and the east lot vacant. To the south is Heatherwood subdivision, which is zoned NCR1, which is Neighborhood Conservation Residential 1. The lot to the west is occupied and zoned thoroughfare access, which is what we are proposing. Like I said before, because the adjacent land to the east is, to the west is zoned thoroughfare, the rezoning of Tract 3 would not be considered spot zoning, and therefore it would not it would not take away from the character of the neighborhood. C, the extent to which the property is consistent with the zoning and use of nearby properties. The allowed use for thoroughfare access in business park are actually almost identical, except some of the commercial and industrial uses that are allowed in the business park zoning, which it currently is, it's actually more restrictive in the thoroughfare zoning, which is what we're proposing. In the thoroughfare zoning, there are a lot of uses that require a CUP, which means they would have to have a public hearing and come through us before they can actually operate or build. The suitability of the property for the use at which it has been proposed to restrict. Yes, the land is suitable for the uses that it's currently be restricting now in the business park if we rezone it to thoroughfare. The extent to which the property would substantially harm the value of nearby property. Staff does not anticipate the neighborhood's character will be dramatically changed by rezoning the property to thoroughfare access. Like I previously said, the uses in business park and thoroughfare access are almost identical, with commercial and industrial uses that are allowed only with conditional uses in the thoroughfare zoning district. Rezoning the property to thoroughfare access would actually protect the adjoining property owners because of the conditions that would have to be put on CUPs for commercial and industrial uses that would not have to be put on elsewise. The length of time the property has remained vacant as zoned, the site has actually never been built on. And the gain, if any, to the public health, safety, and welfare due to the denial of the proposed amendment as compared to the hardship imposed upon the landowner. There are many uses for business park, and so we do not believe that there is any actual hardship. Recommendations would be from the staff, but the staff does not oppose the rezoning.
Thank you, Randy.
No problem. Now, public comment. Have a moment to breathe.
Yeah, question.
Go ahead with your question.
Just for my clarification, we're talking about rezoning all of Tract 3,
Yes,
okay, not just the proposed building site.
correct. It would be all of tract and then split. Yes.
Would anybody from the public like to speak?
I just have a question.
Please state your name and your address.
Sharon Keegan, 907 Rosewood Court. Now, the community garden is directly in my backyard. So my question is, does it have a future staying there? I mean, as far as we can see in the future at this point, you know, what impact does that have,
Okay,
you know?
so actually, this was an option that the city staff came up with, so the community garden does not have to move right away. Because the initial proposal was, this is your lot, community garden, bye. And we didn't think that was really fair,
Right,
especially given such short notice. So we decided that if we split it, if they do not come up with a board and essentially approach the council with a plan as such, then they could possibly move in the future. But as of right now, this is the plan, so they do not have to move immediately by any means.
okay, yeah, because that was, my concern was,
Sure.
what kind of noise are we going to have behind us with my kids' bedrooms being right there?
Sure.
And I'm very pleased to hear it's an indoor
Yes.
versus outdoor.
Yes,
That
sure.
was a big concern.
Indoor.
Thank you.
No problem.
Buster Hornhausen, 911 Melrose. I would, wife and I own the property right off the southwest corner of proposed area of what you're talking about. My question, well, I'm concerned about what kind of noise would be, but also what the kind of, is it going to be strictly inside a building, or is it going to be inside a fenced area, or what? If it's inside a building, the noise will not be so bad. If it's just inside a fenced area, the noise from a bat and a ball occurs a long ways.
Sure.
Also, if there isn't a good fence, a ball goes a long ways too. We're just having new windows put in this Friday. I would have to see any of them knocked out.
Absolutely. So,
If you understand, if you
yeah,
follow
so
me.
actually, there are setback requirements for any development. I believe, this off the top of my head, it's at least 25 feet from the property line. So there'll be some distance there. The proposed development is all indoor batting. So as of right now, what was proposed is all indoor in a building. So there should not be any extra noise outside. They want to target the after-school kids, the rec kids, the club kids to practice. So it would just be, you know, the after-school time usually would probably be the busiest time, which is already, yeah.
It will be limited time, not open.
Correct, yeah, it's not gonna be midnight, come hit. So,
Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
That answers my question.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course.
Anyone else?
Ask another question.
Laura Homer Johnson,
Okay,
911 Melrose. Whatever this is considered a recreation, kids are gonna be running around everywhere and things like this. And that is a quiet neighborhood out there. That's the reason we picked it. It was quiet. And I don't want any more noise than I have to have. And like I said, the windows are going in Friday. I'm not talking about them. I'm not for it. I don't want it. I want my peace and my quiet out there that I've got. The community garden, we don't have any problems with them. But when you start sticking a big building out there and call it recreation, you're gonna have kids running around, cars honking, and I don't care how quiet the building can be, you're still gonna have noise. Oh, yes.
I actually have a couple of written,
Hold
Correspondence.
just a second. This is the lady.
oh, I'm sorry.
Well, she,
Hi, I'm Louise Edwards. I live at 905 Rosewood Court. And just to follow up on the comments that were made, there has been a concern just because that area is peaceful and so forth. And with the ins and outs, I've had kids involved and all sorts of activities over the years. And I know just even though it can be peaceful, it's still loud and it goes on generally later into the evening and so forth. And I don't know what the hours, if there's going to be like it closes at 8 at night or whatnot and so forth. So, there is a concern that it might just, be a little hectic on that backside, especially for the folks that back up to that area. Not living next to a thoroughfare necessarily, but still could be take away from the quiet and just peaceful area.
Yes, I'll give you one more time.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
My thing is, my concern would be loitering and vandalism would really be my concern with having a bunch of kids, in the area. I don't know to be opposed or to be for it. I mean, it'd be great for the kids to have something to do. I do just concern about loitering and vandalism. So, thank you.
All right, now Rand.
Okay, so I have a couple of written correspondence that were given, sent to me. I want to go ahead and read those for the record. One is from Cindy Adams, 911 Hemlock. I have actually had quite a bit of correspondence with her over the phone. You guys all have copies of the letter, so I'm going to skip to the 5 main points that she made. 1, will the traffic in the area greatly increase? 2, will there be tall ball field lights? 3, will the complex increase noise levels in the area? 4, will the community garden remain intact? 5, will this open the door for future commercial development here? And then we had a written correspondence from Ernie and Carney Sherman, 916 Cedar Court. And they state, in mid-2019, we purchased our lot in Heatherwood Estates, and our house was constructed and completed in mid-2020, after which time we moved in. At the time we purchased the lot, we were aware that the land to the north of us and many of our neighbors was owned by the city and zone business park. Rezoning tract 3 thoroughfare access would likely create more noise and traffic than the business park zoning in the area directly to the north of many homeowners' backyard. The community garden enjoyed by many would also have to relocate. Also, there are several lots available in Heatherwood Estates, and the rezoning would likely dissuade future building. For these reasons, we would like to ask the Planning Commission to reject the rezoning of tract 3 for any of the nearby city-owned tracts currently owned by Zone Business Park. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully, Connie and Ernie Sherman. And then lastly, I had an email from Steve and Christy McMullen. This backs up to our property at 912 Hemlock Street. Some questions that we have, what is the plan to separate our property from the building? Would it be a fence, berm, trees, etc.? Also, the lights that we assume will be installed for the parking lot when the building is built. So, I actually went ahead and answered the McMullins. I told them that those concerns are actually a bit ahead of where we are. Those are reviewed after we accept the engineered site plan, so I can't give them exact details on what they will be, but I told them that our LDO actually does require screening between the houses, although like I said, there's many options, so I can't tell them exactly what that will be yet. And that our LDO requires an exterior lighting plan, and that there's not required lighting in the parking lot. So if there is, we will have to review the amount of poles, the height of the poles, and there's cutoff regulations on the spillover of the lights. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
All right, since we've heard from all the public, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, we're in discussion. John, go ahead.
Couple questions. One is, I'm not sure how to say this, but the way that the business park is done now, any type of manufacturing could basically move in there, right?
Correct.
So if a noisy manufacturer moved in there, we wouldn't even be here talking about it.
You are correct.
Okay. And by rezoning this, does that also allow for external or exterior recreation as well. So let's say that a year from now, 2 years from now, they decide, well, we want to put batting cages outside, or we want a racetrack around the building for cars or go-karts or whatever. Is that consistent with that zoning?
This is just for indoor recreation.
Okay,
So
so,
they would have to come through a site plan and everything if they would want to even add an addition. So
okay,
it would be reviewed by us.
so no exterior type sports could be taking place.
Correct.
Okay,
But they, without, yes.
yeah, okay,
As long, correct me if I'm wrong,
Go ahead.
but as long as that building existed. Once the building, because the zoning goes with the lot.
Yes,
So if somebody was to come in and buy it, knock the building down, then they could put some outdoor recreation there, correct?
You'd have to do a CUP.
yeah.
What?
You'd have to have a CUP, so it'd have to go through, right? Would it have to do
I don't
that?
think so. I with thoroughfare zoning, actually, I think it is allowed.
It's allowed, outdoor recreation is allowed in thoroughfare access, yeah. So to your question,
so to get
as
back,
long
to-
as the building's there, no, but if the building was gone,
but they own the garden as well,
No,
No.
they will
No.
not.
but they will
So-
not own the garden,
No, we're going to rezone the entire lot. It is now with the garden.
okay,
And then we're gonna split it in half. So they're gonna own 3 acres and the community garden's gonna have their own.
okay,
We will own the community garden still. How about that? There you go.
Gotcha.
That's all.
okay. That's, yeah, my question was, okay,
Sure.
okay, my question is mute, so,
Okay,
one of my concerns I have is similar to John's, but mine is they anticipate building an 8,000 square foot building. We rezone this to thoroughfare access, and then they don't build the building.
Mhm.
That falls through. Now it's sitting here thoroughfare access, and somebody else comes in and wants to put something else there that falls within thoroughfare access.
Mhm.
So I have a little bit of concern from that standpoint.
Sure, that's all a possibility. Also, the city is trying to protect ourselves as in for the agreement. If this is not what they're doing, it comes back to us. So the city would actually still own it.
Okay,
So we would be able to regulate some of that. We
that's,
can always rezone it back.
that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Is if they don't build the building,
There will be
it reverts
contingencies.
back to the ownership of the city.
There will be contingencies, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that answers my question.
Yes, but we don't want to allow exactly what you said.
Okay, then that answers my question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest concerns I have is they brought up, kids just hanging around outside. What can we do as a committee and future in the council, what can we do to stop that?
Well, I don't know if there's so much that you can do to stop it, because, I mean, the schools are right there as well, which also makes this a good location, so people after school, kids can walk to this place. I think that you could probably input more sidewalks to allow the kids a path to go, so they're not going around the neighborhood to the houses, to allow them,
Is that fenced back there?
right now,
Yeah, homeowners, is that fenced in the
I
backyard?
think it depends on the owner.
Just private.
Right,
Yeah.
We don't have any problems on it.
because I could see, I mean, in my own area, I've seen kids cut through, and I could see kids cut through these
So,
residences.
sure, and so kind of like,
When the soccer field was over there, kids ran through our yard.
okay, so kind of
Garden and everything.
So like what I said before, with the site plan, there will be screening requirements for the back lots between their development and the houses. So hopefully that will knock that out, so they won't be trying to cut.
Screening, what do you mean screening?
Screening, so a buffer between,
Trees, a fence?
so I can't answer that exactly because there's a lot of possibilities, but yes, it'll be shrubs, tree, fence, masonry, wall, if they have a lot of possibilities that they can't do. So there will be some sort of buffering between.
So can we require a fence?
The LDO already does require screening. I don't think we can require a fence simply because it's not a CUP.
Well, screening's not gonna stop people from going through there. I mean,
Sure.
you know, they can have whatever they put their trees, well,
Well,
Yeah.
even a fence on that property isn't gonna stop the kids from going through the properties just to the east of that. Which, you know, they would cut through there, because their fence would be kind of on the back of, it looks like Hemlock. And so Cedar Circle or Court or whatever that is, would still be wide open.
And in reality, for any number, I mean, I'm just visualizing all that property out there.
Sure.
Let's say they're coming after school, for any number of kids to actually cut through there, they're gonna have to cut through the Durham apartments, and they're gonna have to go cross-country all the way through there. As opposed to just coming
Coming
through
down the sidewalk.
you all's property. I mean, they've gotta go all the way across country. So, or they've gotta come down Hospital and then cut back up into Heatherwood and do all of that, which, I mean, there'd probably be some of that, maybe some of the kids in the neighborhood will cut through. But I don't know, I don't know that there'd be massive numbers of kids.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, well, I just know how they can be, and I'm just kind of putting myself in one of those houses, you know,
Oh, yeah.
what I think,
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
that's the one concern that I would have if I was living there, was just kids hanging out or kids cutting through. And, you know, I hope I don't sound like I'm anti-kid. Because I'm not, but I know
That's the man
kids.
who's
Yeah, I was
staying for
gonna
his
say-
grandson's birthday.
It sounds more like you were a kid once upon a time.
As far as the noise and all that, just like you said, there could be a noisy business there. This could be a lot quieter.
Yeah.
So there could be some advantages.
Jessica? Anything? Travis, any questions?
A lot of the concerns from the public, we take our kids up to DBATS in Olathe as much as we can. And this is essentially what they're going to do here. There's no more than 8 cars in the parking lot. There's no kids hanging around. That's been a unique situation where kids can technically walk there, but also the price point of this isn't for loitering. Like, I don't know their true
No,
business
sure.
structure, but my kids can't go every day after school and just swing back. It costs money, and they're building an 8,000 square foot building. They can't just let kids come play for a quarter. I think it's a great idea. I'd be really surprised if it does take off, but I'm all for it, and I think these concerns are not, other than the kids maybe cutting through, and I don't know where the sidewalk ends, but coming from school, they're gonna go all the way around through Sonic, or past the Sonic headquarters. I mean, that's what's going through my head. Why can't Sonic move somewhere else and they just take over that building and be done with it? But that's not my decision there. But I don't think any of those concerns are that great, just knowing what I experience, at least bi-monthly at DBATS.
John, anything?
I'm good.
I think everything's pretty well covered on that. A commercial business could come in and have a lot more noise and ongoing trucks and business delivery vehicles.
And there's also that possibility with their neighbor too.
Right.
I mean, that's also there now too, so.
So I don't,
All right.
I don't see a problem.
One question I was wondering, what's the difference? How come those two zonings aren't combined? Why is that kept separate?
Business park and
And thoroughfare
because there's more restrictions in thoroughfare
with the business part?
with commercial industrial uses, yes. So there's a lot more uses that require CUPs in thoroughfare.
All right. No
But
further
if this does fall through, we could rezone it back pretty easily, right?
Yes.
Like I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like you're concerned.
Absolutely, yes. It's always able to be reversed.
All right, anything further? Anybody want to make a motion? Well, I'll make the motion then. I'll make the motion to approve the change of the zoning from BP to PA. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I do have one unrelated question. We had a hearing on that lot just to the west of the bus barn. And nothing has happened, and that's been almost a year now. It's curious.
Yep, so that's actually privately owned now, so there's not much we can do on that. We keep asking them, hey, when you're moving, they keep giving us, oh, spring, winter, summer, fall. So we're having them, trying to get them moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next item on the agenda, the community and economic development.
Yes. So the rebuilds for the West Miami and East Kaskaskia lots are completed. I don't know if you have driven down them yet, but if you haven't, please do, because they are beautiful and we love them. It was a nice redo. The Baptiste extension has actually went out for bids and the council has approved the bids for the whole construction. We are still way early in the process. We don't think it'll probably happen until spring of next year, but we are happy that it's actually moving forward. The same with the Baptiste and Hedge Lane intersection rebuild. Unfortunately, we are on KDOT's timeline because we got KDOT money for it. So we're toting the line, hoping that'll get done soon. In September, the housing incentive program expired and the council actually renewed it for another year. So we do have the housing incentive program back on it. And we are at 372 building permits this year, which is actually very surprising in my opinion and very good.
Yeah.
Yes. That is all I have for you guys.
Anybody have anything for staff? All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, you got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you everyone for your time.
You're welcome.
Randy, I do have another question for you.
Sure.
Already done wasting time. Stuff, I've had 2 different houses bought.
Oh, now both of them. It's a heck of a.
We just gotta get rid of our contingency and then.
Okay.
Yes. Did you take 80 notice or something?
Maybe Travis's if he ever could find a house.
Oh, when you was here, I thought, was something fell through with your job and you come back?
I've been flipped. Now I'm on this side of it.
Not that I'm complaining, I was just curious.
Yeah.
So you concerned and the others have been noticed. And so we are moving, hopefully having discussions to move forward for this act. And hopefully hire some people. So I understand your concern. I will do my best to get someone out there this season. Hopefully moving forward, we'll have the manpower to be able to put that on and.
So a couple of the neighbors talked about, you know, their deal was that, well, the goal was and that's just the impression.
Sure. I
Yeah, he's
understand
one of
that.
the in crowd.
Well,
Not in my crowd, but I don't know who's in front of it.
But that's the impression.
Absolutely. And I know. Yeah, we tried something, hopefully, we're hopeful and.
And he bailed it, and he almost noticed twice.
Mhm.
Because I know that I read something.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I will.
Hassle, yeah, but-
You know what? The more you hassle, the more I can send it on. That's okay.
was
That's okay.
proposed, but I don't know if anything.
Bill still with, building
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there
Are
was.
you trying to get hold of him? Okay, I was gonna say, he's been out like all last week, so.
inspector? He was a tester for somebody.
Not yet, so I'm kind of bogging my water. Yeah. So we're hanging in there though.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if he ever closed.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will get him out there.
Oh, you don't need to.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Oh, no.
It's something that's gonna cost. No. It's gonna be a little bit.
Thank you for
Thank you
that.
very
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Are you Randy?
I am.
I have a question for you.
Oh, just one moment, ma'am.
Okay,